Good afternoon, everyone. My name is John Geminade, EVP of Production here at Angel Oak Mortgage Solutions. Sorry about the couple-minute delay. Of course, there's always technical difficulties. So we'll get started here. Let everyone log in. We'll get started here in about 45 seconds. We want to be very respectful of your time. Today, we're going to do a deep dive into bank statements. And we're going to cover everything's going to be run from our website. This isn't a recording, as you can tell, a couple minutes late. But everything's going to be run from our website. We're going to talk all about bank statements. We're going to talk about our quick quote tool to get rates. We're going to talk to you how to submit a pre-qual. And then last, we're also going to show you our marketing portal with all our new marketing flyers and how you can market yourself for the remainder of the year and into 2026. I'll introduce our subject matter experts here in about another 30 seconds and look forward to having a fun time here today. All right, we still have people logging in, but let's get started. This is going to be recorded. If we don't answer any of your questions, we'll get your AE to reach out to you by no later than end of day tomorrow. So again, my name is John Geminade, EVP of Production here at Angel Oak Mortgage Solutions, and I'm honored to have two of our best AEs here on the call who I just got to see this past weekend in Orlando, Florida at the FAMP. So Jerry Calderon, please introduce yourself.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jerry Calderon. I've been with Angel Oak now on 9 years. I've been in the industry for over 20 years, and I'm super excited to be here with everybody today and to discuss our bread and butter program, which is the bank statement program. That's our most popular program that we offer here at Angel Oak, and looking forward to making each one of you guys experts on the program.
Yeah, thank you, Jerry, and appreciate you as a partner here at Angel Oak. And then probably doesn't need an introduction. Steve Arnold, please introduce yourself.
Thanks, John. Hey, everyone. Steve Arnold. In my 12 years here at Angel Oak and 20 plus years in the industry, wholesale. Back from the days when they first introduced and rolled out the bank statement program. So I've got a lot of experience, and this is my favorite program of all time, and just happy to be here with everybody.
Yeah, so just on this call, you have 31 years experience just with Angel Oak. So that's amazing, guys. Time flies when you're having fun. So before we get into the bank statement program, we're going to launch a poll. Who has originated a non-QM loan in the last 12 months? Who has originated a bank statement loan in the last 12 months? So if we can launch that poll, that'd be great. So while you guys are answering the poll and who's originated a bank statement loan in the last 12 months, the fastest growing segment in the lending industry is that self-employed borrower. 430,000 new business applications are applied for every month, and Florida, California, Texas are the top 3 states where new business applications are being formed every month. So, wow, this is
Mind-boggling.
this is more than normal, guys, right? Usually we see 60-70% have not, which is great. So, more people are getting in. Okay, so about 77% of you have not originated a bank statement loan in the last 12 months, which is great. You're on this call. We're going to teach you everything you want to know about bank statements. We're going to talk about the 1003. We're going to talk about the credit report, and we're going to answer all your questions here. So, wow, that's pretty 80% right now. So, all right, we're going to end the poll. And then, Jerry, let's go over high level of our bank statement program. Can you see the screen?
Thank you, John.
Okay.
So the bank statement program, like I said, it's our bread and butter program here at Angel Oak. It's for self-employed borrowers who can't prove their income and who write off all of their income. This is obviously in today's day and era a very popular loan because everybody is self-employed. I'm sure that you guys are running across people that are self-employed each and every day, and if you're not, you probably don't know it, but they're all around you. The program goes up to as high as $4 million is our max loan amount. The minimum loan amount that we can do is $150,000. We can do the program as a purchase, refi, cash out, rate and term. We can even do delayed financing on this program. It is for owner occupied second homes and investment properties that we can do on the bank statement program. And we can either do 12 or 24 months personal or business bank statements. And we can cover that a little more in detail later. We do have a 2-year seasoning for foreclosure, short sale, bankruptcy, or deed in lieu. We also offer a 1099 option that is available on this program. We also have a profit and loss, and we can cover all that down the road. Now, the way that we calculate the income for the bank statement program is really simple. Okay, what we're going to do is we're going to take 100% of the deposits, and automatically you get a 50% haircut. So let's say you got $1 million in deposits over the 24 months. You're now going to be at 500,000 with your expense ratio, which puts you at 500,000. You divide that by 24 months. That's your monthly income. It's as simple as that. Now, in the event that you do need more income, we can go off of a third-party CPA letter or a tax preparer letter that lets us know their true expenses. We all know most businesses don't operate on a 50% expense ratio. So long as we get the CPA or the tax preparer to let us know what their true expense ratio is, we can go to as little as 15% expense ratio and then be able to utilize 85% of the deposits. So in that same scenario, then at that point, we would be able to utilize 85% of deposits. With the personal bank statements, we do have an option to go as high as 100% of the deposits, as long as we get the 2 months of the business bank statements along with the personal 12 months of the personal statements. Now at that point, we know all their expenses are being ran through the business, so we are able to qualify them, giving them 100% of deposits on personal bank statements. This program does go to as high as 90% LTV, and the minimum FICO score for it that we can go to is 640 that we can go to. And we also additionally have a 1-year self-employed bank statement program as long as they've been in the industry in a 2-year history within the same line of work.
Yeah, Jerry, that's critical because we talked about these new business formations, right? They're happening every month, and a great example of that. I know a lot of you guys use that. Like if you have a person who's still doing their rounds as a doctor at the hospital, but opens up their own practice, they've been self-employed for just that year, and we can use that 1 year of self-employment. Other examples are roofers. Been working for, especially you guys, unfortunately, the storms you guys have had in Florida, someone works as a roofer for a company, then says, this is great business, I'm going to go out on my own. So I loved you bringing that up, Jerry, so thank you. Anything else, Jerry?
Now, one thing I would like to add about this program is when you are looking at the bank statement loan or you're looking at any loan, I would strongly encourage you, you're going to have to get the W-2s, you're going to have to get the tax returns, right? All that information. If they're self-employed, get the tax returns. Take a look at it and see if it makes sense to go bank statements or if it makes sense to go the traditional way with tax returns. Here's why. You're going to maximize your borrower's
Sorry, Jerry, I'm
buying.
going to interrupt you for a minute. You mentioned get their tax returns, but you really meant get their bank statements when you're getting their tax returns.
Bank statements when they get, yeah, that's what I meant, is bank statements when you get the bank statements additionally from that, so that you can look at both options when you're doing this. And then at that point, what you're going to find out is a lot of the times you can maximize your borrower's buying power by utilizing the bank statement program. They may only be able to do 2 years tax returns and qualify for a $400,000 loan amount. But if we go the bank statement route and we're going just off of the deposit, they may be able to qualify now for a $550,000 or $600,000 loan amount. We all get paid based off of volume. We like volume. So I would strongly encourage you to look at both options when you're doing this.
Yeah, Jerry, that's a great public service announcement. Like if you're go down those parallel paths, and just let the borrower decide which way they want to go. So, Steve, talk a little bit about 1003, what you want on the credit on the 1003, and then really talk about what we've used to qualify borrowers from a trade line credit perspective.
Sure. So as far as the 1003 goes, it's super important. Accuracy and completion. We basically treat the quick qual as a pre-underwrite opportunity. So your AE is trained to really take a good hard look at the entire scenario, and that's why our pull-through ratio is so high, is because we do a lot of the heavy lifting up front. So complete as much as that 1003 application as possible. Make sure you're as accurate as possible, so we can do our job up front.
Sorry, I apologize.
That's all right. It's live, right? So it's all good. So Steve, what do you, even though we do the prequel up front, right? And I'm probably jumping ahead here. What do you want for, if you know you're sending Angel Oak a bank statement deal, what do you want for income on that 1003, Steve?
So as far as income, I always suggest leaving the income blank. Don't put anything in the income because it could change with the CPA or third-party expense letter. Maybe I did income through June and then July is just released. Always leave the income blank. For some reason, if your LOS system doesn't allow it, just put $1. But highly recommend leaving the income blank.
And then Steve, talk a little bit about trade lines, just what we're looking for on the credit report.
Absolutely. Let me add a few more things though on the as far as the 1003 goes, so we can do our job and make sure we're giving you some really accurate feedback. As far as what you put in on section 1, the self-employment, make sure that name really matches the exactly the name that appears on the business bank statements if you're using business statements. The name has to match. As far as the dates, put the dates in there because as Jerry mentioned earlier, we do offer a 12-month business bank statement program as well, but you have to be 2 years in the industry in some sort of line of work. So the dates are really important to us so we can give you an accurate quick call up front. If it's 1 year on the current job, then we need to see the previous year. So make sure you always fill out the 2-year work employment history on the app. Also, current address, the housing, that's critical because we do offer some rent-free, some first-time home buyers, etc. We need to see if the current housing is owned, if it's living free, no primary, whatever. But please make sure that's filled out. That helps us up front. Also, assets are very important. The REO section and the liabilities, so we can determine the DTI for you. Because remember, we're gonna calculate the income for you. We're going to give you that little junior pre-underwrite, so we're going to figure out the debt-to-income ratios for you. We are also going to figure out the payment shock, the housing payment shock. So that's why all these things are very critical. Even with the subject, make sure the real estate taxes, the insurance, the HOA is in there as close to accurate as you can put, so we can really get you. Let me silence that. So we can get you an accurate DTI and housing payment shock as well. As far as trade, can you hear me?
Yes.
As far as trade lines go, we do count, if somebody's renting a first-time home buyer, we do count rent as a trade line if they can prove it via canceled checks, bank statements, something to that nature. We look for 2 with 24 months depth, or 3 with a 12-month depth. If it's not used and kind of dormant, but it's still open, we can also use that. So we're taking a good hard look at the trade lines and making sure that they qualify all up front.
Yeah, Steve, you mentioned a couple things there, like the assets, right? The great thing about it, at a 90 LTV, all we need are 3 months reserves. But a lot of things we get, the exception are is because they have assets and maybe more than the minimum reserve. So we may say we only need 3, but if they've got 12 months there, that might help us get past an exception. So Jerry, here's a question that came in from Justine, and you mentioned this a little early. Is there a difference in calculating income and/or terms between using personal versus business?
There is I mean, it's very similar. Actually, how we calculate the income, it's exactly the same. So for business bank statements, we automatically hit them with a 50% expense ratio, and then we get the expense ratio factor from the CPA or tax preparer, and we can use that amount. But for personal bank statements, we do the same exact thing. However, we can utilize 100% of the deposits if they just provide us with 2 months of the business statements, additionally from the 12 months personal statements.
Yeah. Thank you, Justine, for that. Again, this is being recorded, but I'm managing the question queue here, so use that question box to ask any questions in there. So, Steve, another question we get here is, what's the turn time for analyzing these bank statements?
Typically 24 hours. I've done the majority the same day. We've got a pre-underwrite bank statement team that will review, and typically it's always within 24 hours.
Yeah, Jerry, here's another question that came in. Can you use 2 sets of bank statements from 2 different businesses?
We can. That's a great question, and we absolutely can. We can use two separate business accounts, and we can calculate each different business in order to come up with the two qualifying incomes for each business. One thing that I would like to piggyback on that same question is that we can also use W-2 income in conjunction with the business bank statement income. So that's a great way if you have a spouse that's husband self-employed. We can take his self-employed income, utilize that, and then we can take the mom or spouse who's W-2. She's a school teacher. We can use her W-2 income in conjunction with the bank statement income.
Yeah, thank you, Jerry, for touching on it, because that was one of the next questions here. Steve, how do you prove, what's the proof of self-employment? How do you prove they're self-employed?
Typically, sunbiz.org if it's in Florida, Secretary of State articles, website, business phone number, reverse lookup, and then we're always going to require some third party 1 or 2 sentence statement, whether it's an accountant, a CPA, a tax preparer, a bookkeeping company, and if it's somebody that is, say, perhaps an Uber driver or a elderly care or nurse or something, sometimes there's licenses to prove it.
Okay, thanks. Jerry, and Justine is coming back at you with that question, Jerry. If they've owned those 2 businesses for 2+ simultaneous, I guess the question she's asking, I hope I'm asking it correctly, Justine, is do both of those businesses have to be in business for 2 years or greater?
Well, in that scenario, they would, because we're trying to go off of the 2-year history from each business. Now, in the event where you just had one business that was in business for only 1 year, however, they were in the same line for 2 years, then that would qualify for the 1-year self-employed bank statement program. Now, that program does require 720 middle score, and it does go to a max 80% LTV, but you can still do the loan. So I hope I answered the question in regards to what she was asking.
You did, but Steve, Jerry answered the question about the spouse being W-2. Are we allowed to do, like we talk about that giga economy, right? If the one bar is W-2, but they started their side hustle, can we do that borrowing, Steve?
If you're going to use multi companies, you would need the 2-year history. So if it's a secondary job, you have to have them both for the 2 years.
But the same borrower can have the W-2 and have the self-employed income.
Correct. Absolutely. Yes.
Yep. Great. And Justine told me we did answer her question correctly. Thank you, Justine. Steve, will you do a pre-qual on a TBD?
Yes, absolutely. You can't submit it for disclosures and underwriting, but TBD for quick quals, pre-quals, and qualifying, absolutely, 100%.
And Jerry, here's a question. Do you offer this program in interest only?
That's a great question, and we do. We offer it in interest only also.
Okay. So let's go questions. Keep the questions coming in. We'll stop and answer them as we go through. So Jerry, let's talk about the 1099 program. Let me pull that up here. Hold on, I gotta move There we go. Jerry, can you see that?
Again, yeah.
Cool.
So a lot of similarity to the bank statement program. That does go down same credit score to 640, and it does go as high as 90%, just like the bank statement program. Loan amount's a little bit slightly lower. 3 million is the max, but it is still 150 minimum loan amount. Same thing as a bank statement program. We can do purchase, refi, cash out, rate and term, delayed financing on there. So I do want to stress the delayed financing because that's something that we see quite often, especially here in my market. We can do owner occupied second homes and investment properties on the 1099 program. And on this program, the biggest thing is no tax returns are required. So we don't require any tax returns for this program. We do have the same 2-year seasoning for foreclosure, short sale, bankruptcy, or deed in lieu. We're going to take most recent 1 or 2 year 1099 plus year to date earning statements is what we're going to utilize for the income. Okay. We're going to year to date earnings are verified from earning statement, pay stubs, or bank statements. The 1099s must be from one single employer and issued with the borrower's personal name. So they do have to be on the borrower's personal name when we receive the 1099s. Borrower must be self-employed and working in the same line of work for 2 years on this program.
Yeah, so Jerry, what would be another reason, obviously, than the 1099? But well, let me jump back here. Richard asked the question, Jerry. So can you verify what you just said regarding the 1 year self-employed? Is it a 720 score with an 80% LTV?
720 with 80%
Yeah.
LTV.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks. And then Steve, Julio's asking, is this program available for I-10 borrowers?
We do offer bank statements for I-10. That is on a separate program, but yes, it is available. Bank statements.
Yeah, so we're not going to cover that specifically here today, Julio, but we did just roll that out about 90 days ago, that I-10 program using bank statements to qualify that borrower. So thank you. Steve, let's jump over to the, and if questions come out in regarding the 1099, Jerry, we'll jump back and forth here. So let's talk about the P&L program, Steve, and specifically why you would go that route. All right, Steve.
Got it. Same matrix, same basic as the bank statement, same platform, good for all property types and transaction types, owner occupied, second investments, etc. I would say, and as far as the P&L qualifying, it's a 640 minimum score, 80 LTV is the max. The reason why P&L sometimes work is because the bank statement may have excessive overdrafts or NSFs or something to that nature, or maybe the borrower has multiple bank statements, business accounts, and spreads it out over several, or there's commingling, and for some reason the bank statements just don't work. The P&L may be an easier route. It's the last 12 months, same as bank statements, so you're going to just get the most recent last 12 months signed by a tax preparer or accountant or CPA, and in some cases it works better. It may be easier.
Yeah, so Steve, you mentioned NSFs. That question hasn't come up, but what are, again, it's a guideline. What are our guidelines for NSFs?
You're allowed 10 per year without an exception. I did one this morning that I got the exception because they had 12. So it's typically 10 for any first lien for the year. And then if they had a high score of 720 and a little lower LTV, we can do up to 20. Anything that doesn't fit those buckets would be a case-by-case exception, depending upon the reason for it and the strength of the borrower.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned it earlier, and if I didn't, 25% of the loans we close here at Angel Oak don't meet our guidelines because people like Jerry, Steve, all of our other excellent account executives across the country, they know what Angel Oak's appetite is, and and they're experts on, as Steve mentioned earlier, get me some additional assets. Why should I make this exception and stuff like that? So, our AEs are definitely highly trained in getting good loans done and to the closing table. So, questions still coming in. Let me see here. If you are using personal bank statements that have multiple owners, Jerry, I don't know if you want to take that, the multiple owners and what percentage on the business side, and then we can talk a little bit to answer Brock's question regarding personal bank statements.
Well, so if there's multiple, is he asking for personal bank statements?
Well, he said, yeah, let's answer Brock's question first, Jerry. Sorry about that. What if there are multiple owners of the business, but you're using personal bank statements?
So if we're utilizing personal bank statements and there's multiple borrowers on the bank statements or multiple people on the bank statements, unfortunately, they do have to be on the loan if they're personal bank statements.
Okay, and so, and this is, I'll probably end up answering this question. So they have multiple owners on the business, but they're using personal bank statements. So in that case, whatever's coming into that personal bank statement, that's the split maybe between the owners, and they're dumping that money into or placing that money into that personal bank statement. So we would use all of those deposits in that personal bank statement. Am I right there, Jerry and Steve?
Correct. Correct.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about business bank statements and multiple owners, Jerry.
So if there's business bank statements and we have multiple owners, we'll want to know the percentage of ownership that they have in the business. So we're going to get that provided CPA letter or accountant letter to let us know the actual percentage. And then we can utilize that percentage according to what their percentage of ownership is in the business.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that, Jerry. And thank you for the question, Brock. Hopefully we answered that for you. Uh, all right, let's move along, Jerry. Let's talk about rate because everyone wants to know how they're going to get paid, right? So let's move a few things around here. All right, let's go back to the home page, Jerry, and then let's show everyone how they can get a quick quote, and then how to submit a pre-qual or a quick call. Sorry.
All right. Before we get started, I'd like to just mention to everybody that the reason I'm showing the Longoria jersey behind me is because I'm with two Yankees fans and they're about to sweep the Rays. So therefore I had to show it off anyways. But all right, let's get started on the non-QM quick quote. So the non-QM quick quote, it is a great tool, guys. If you haven't been on the non-QM quick quote, I strongly encourage you to get on there. It is super, super user-friendly. It's so user-friendly that my 9-year-old loves to go on there, price out scenarios, and see if the borrowers qualify. And yet to date, nobody has not qualified from her. So it's a great tool. And all you do is you click on the non-QM quick quote. The first question it's always going to ask you is what's your channel type? You click on broker. Unless you're non-Del, but 90% of you guys will be broker. Then you go to your loan amount. From there, you would put in, it's a HELOC. That's a whole other subject, but let's just say this is just a regular bank statement. We're going to go credit score. You put in your qualifying score. Then you go to your loan to value. You put the loan to value that you're looking for. The subject property, it is important to always put the state that it's in. Housing history, this would be if they had any mortgage lates in the last 24 months, you're going to put that or utilize that there. If they don't, 0 times 30. Property type, we will go up to 4 units on this program. So you can go up to as high as 4 units. Like we said, transaction type would be whether it's a purchase, cash out, or rate and term. Then you're going to go to asset depletion. That's another subject. So we'll just put no on there. One thing that is very important is to put obviously the occupancy type, and then having whether you're doing 24 months or 12 months business bank statements. There really isn't any difference in doing one or the other. It's just a matter of if you're trying to utilize the 24 or 12 months, which way you want to go. And then occupancy type, borrower, citizenship type, you would put on there. If you want to waive escrows, if you're looking to do so, you put on there. And then your interest only option goes on there. There's 2 ways that you can get compensated with Angel Oak. We can either compensate you with a borrower pay, which means you're going to charge, typically you're going to charge the par rate, and then you're going to charge your fees on the front end. Or you could do lender paid, which is whatever your company is approved for, you would put that amount on here. If you see below, it gives you very simple rates and programs that's available. In this scenario, we got a 75% LTV that we requested. It's actually telling us that we can go to as high as 90%. So you would be able to present that option to your borrower. Hey, you're qualified at 75, but here's 80, here's 85, here's 90, just by going back up top and changing that LTV. You see the rate there? Yeah, that is correct. That is the rate for a bank statement loan, 6.624. Then it tells you the bankruptcy seasoning, which is 24 months, housing seasoning, which is 24 months. And then, like John said, we do have 3 months reserves. That is only on the subject property. So do keep that in mind that the 3 month reserves are on the subject property. Below that, you just have some of the program specifics that it covers. Just tells you a few things in regards to the specifics on the program. Now, at the moment that you're ready and you say, hey, I like this, looking to move forward with it, at that point, you would click on the blue where it says view rates on there. Once you click on the view rates, you're going to go now to where it's going to show you the stack of rates. Okay. There, you're going to select your preferred pricing option, whatever it is that you're looking to do. Like we said, either borrower paid or lender paid would show up. And then you're going to select the pricing that you're looking for. Once you select the pricing that you're looking for, then it's going to take you to the second step. Okay. Now here, this is now when the moment that you're ready for a pre-approval from us and you're ready to get the loan in their account executive's hands. Once you select the option on the rate, then it's then going to take you to the second step of the quick call, which is step 2. Here
Jerry,
you can either, yes, sir.
Jerry, so when I clicked on that button for that rate, did I lock the loan at that time?
No, you did not lock the loan. This is just for pre-approval purposes. The loan isn't locked until it's actually registered and you're going to go into your pipeline and actually lock it. Yeah. So at this point, you would go ahead and you can either upload your MISMO 3.4 file, or a lot of brokers just simply go on to next. And then when you click on next, that takes you to the third step. Now this part is important that you fill this out. Okay, it's going to ask first question. You select your account executive. If you don't have one, feel free to find me. Put it on there. And your company information is crucial here. Put the company information, your information on there, email address, the borrower's information. Just below that is where you're going to see the loan documents that are going to be uploaded. For the bank statement loan, we do need the 1003, a complete 1003 minus the income, like Steve said. Okay. The credit report is a must-have on there. All right. And that's it that we're going to need for the bank statement loan. 1008 is not necessary, to be honest with you. There is down below where it says a bank statement questionnaire. If it's a business bank statement loan, we do need that business bank statement questionnaire. It's just a simple form that gets us to a little more familiar with the business itself. And you want to upload that also additionally, and your account executive can get you that form, or you can actually get it from the website. The moment that you upload those simple things, at that point you submit that. One more thing I like to add: the additional comments is something very important. Okay, like John said you have seasoned AEs here at Angel Oak, and I strongly encourage you to utilize the additional comments, because this is where you can put anything in regards to the loan. Hey, we're trying to use 2 business accounts, account ending in 0432, account ending in 067, or is 100% owner of both accounts. This way, when the bank statement review team gets this, they know, okay, we need to calculate the income for 2 different accounts, all right? And the borrower is 100% owner in both of those accounts. And your AE also additionally would know this. So you do utilize that additional. There's not a comment on there that's not a good comment, I should say. So once you submit that, then at that point, that goes to your AE for a pre-approval. One thing that we do here at Angel Oak is we take our pre-approvals next level. All the AEs here do a really good job of issuing pre-approvals and really putting their name behind them. So the more complete that you have this, the more information that you have on here, the better that your pre-approval is going to be.
Yeah, Jerry, you bring up a good thing. We talked about it a little earlier about, basically you, Steve, all the other account executives. You're doing a pre-approval, right? You guys have been doing this so long. You're looking at the 1003. You're looking at the credit report. You're looking at the bank statement. And you are determining up front, and these pre-quals are done up front. They get, like Steve said, we can do them on a TPD. We really understand and respect your referral relationship, and we'll do everything in our power to strengthen that referral relationship. So by us doing this up front, and as Jerry said, the additional comments, including those there, are really helpful because Steve and Jerry look at dozens of deals a day, and they're not going to remember everything they had that conversation with you. So the quicker the more information you can put in that additional comments, the quicker Steve and Jerry can get through your approval process. So anything else to add, Steve or Jerry, to the quick quote, the quick call process?
I like if you can go back, John, just to show them that stack on the pricing.
Sure.
I think that's important. Instead of just seeing the one rate, when they click that view rates button, you may want to offer multiple options to the borrower. There may be seller concessions on a purchase or something where a rate buy down would be beneficial. Or if the loan officer is competing with another mortgage broker, you can see the cost, the rate, the pricing. There's many. I wouldn't just offer the one. The borrower may surprise you and want to buy the rate down.
Yeah, so Steve, there's a couple other questions that came in. Is there mortgage insurance required on anything above 80%?
No, there is no PMI ever in our products.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've been doing this so long, like we forget about stuff like that. But that's a great question. And then Jerry Richards asking, does rate pricing change daily, intraday on this product?
It does change daily. However, we're in the non-QM space, so it's not typically as it would be in the agency, but it does. It does. We do send out new rates on a daily basis.
Yep. Yeah. So great questions. Keep them coming. And as I mentioned, if we don't get to some of them, we will have your account executive reach out. So Steve, let's talk about an exciting thing that, I think we've got the best marketing portal, but I could be biased. But let's talk about, so I'll go back one step, Steve. Do you need login credentials to do the quick quote or submit a pre-qual?
You do not need login credentials at all to access anything on the website except for marketing portal material.
Yep. So let's do this. All right. Just got a new password, so bear with me while I hunt and pack. You guys feel free to fill the space.
While you're doing that, John, let me just add, if you go to the homepage, everyone who's listening, and you click on the resources tab, you'll see there's many training videos, the condo questionnaires, the bank statement questionnaire, a lot of good at your fingertips, a lot of good information on that resources tab.
Never fails when you need something. Why is this not? Sorry, guys. I got new credentials this morning. They worked, and now they're not. All right. Well, I did bring up a flyer before we got started. So, Steve, talk about the flyers that are available. And
flyers are excellent, professional quality, really, really good. And you can customize them. Our name will not be on the flyers. They're white labels, so they're customized. You can put your company logo and name and contact, disclaimer, totally customize it, and you can utilize that for print or email or social media to network to all your referral sources. Fantastic, and I highly recommend taking advantage of that.
Yeah, well, Steve, talk a little bit about the flyer. You said the social media. Talk about the presentation also.
Presentation, we have them customized for each program, but even a realtor presentation as well. So there's many different varieties of marketing on there for you at your fingertips. All free, all professional, and all white labeled.
All right, I'm going to try one other thing. Sorry. And so, Steve, talk about what you'll do on behalf of your loan officers.
For marketing purposes and for presentations, a lot of times the loan officer will reach out and see if we can join them on a Zoom call for some training, or even perhaps local in person. We'd be more than happy to accommodate and do that for anyone at your request. We can help guide you. You don't have to introduce us as the actual lender. You can just say your lending partner or an underwriter, whatever would give you some comfort, so we can help guide and present.
Promise I'm going to get there, guys. I apologize. Me. Like I said. All right. Very good. What is this? All right. Well, we're not going to get in there today, I guess. So, but at one time I counted between the flyers, the social media posts, the whiteboard videos, and that realtor presentation, I counted upwards of 70 pieces of content that we deliver for you. It's pre-canned. You don't have to, all you have to do is put your contact information on there. So anyway, I apologize for not being able to log in. I tested it earlier. It worked. So, but anything in closing, Steve? Anything in closing?
I would say, just from looking at that first poll where many have not initiated one yet, I think they're super easy, and I enjoy doing them. And as Jerry said, it maximizes the loan amount, the purchasing power, refi loan amount power, is because you're getting a lot more bang for your buck. Easily, the bank statements are going to show and produce more usable income than any filed tax return is going to show. I've got some loan officers that never did one a year or two ago, and now they're doing 1-2 a month, and they feel more comfortable. We're going to hold your hand through the process. We're going to do all the calculation and pre-qual for you. So attack it. Don't be afraid, and you can walk out your front door and then hit 5 self-employed people from your insurance, your nail salon, your local pizzeria. I mean, you name it, they're out there. You just gotta market it. And the banks don't offer that, so it's a great way to increase your business.
Yeah, Steve. The Mortgage Bankers Association said originations were going to grow by like 14%. Our business is up 50, 60, 70% over last year. So if you're not doing non-QM, you're losing market share. So, Jerry, anything else in closing?
No, I'd just like to say, John, I mean, for those out there that, you haven't done this because you have fear of it's super complicated, or it's something that I don't want to get myself to start doing it. So give it a shot. Give it a shot, because I will tell you it's extremely simple. One thing that you can count on is the account executives here at Angel Oak. Hate saying this, but just here on this presentation, you have 30 years of experience. Okay, ask yourself, what other company would be able to say that? I mean, we were just at the FAMP show, and you walk around there and you see all these AEs that were here or were there last year, this year, they're here, they're there. That's not the case here at Angel Oak. You have seasoned account executives who have been doing this for a long time and are professionals at doing this, and they're experts at doing this. Put it in their hands, allow them to guide you, allow them to take you through the process, and you'll see that it's very simple. It's really simple, and now you're going to be able to expand your portfolio and offer more programs. Go out there, touch the first realtor that you know. Say, hey, thinking about doing a refinance, thinking about doing a purchase for yourself, because I guarantee you they're self-employed. And you'll be able to see that they're out there, and these loans are great loans, and you make a lot of money doing them, and they're super simple to do.
Yeah, so Jerry, I'm going to hit on a few things that Steve said and you said. It's the self-employed borrower buying that luxury home. It's not the W-2 borrower, right? So, and there are more self-employed borrowers than there are VA borrowers, right? So those are other things. Everyone on this call knows how to take a loan application, knows how to pull a credit report. We're going to calculate the income for you And as Steve mentioned, we're going to hold your hand throughout the entire process. And so it's continued to be the fastest growing segment. Like I mentioned, every month, 430,000 new business applications. That hasn't slowed down in the last 3 or 4 years. So they're out there. And I think the most powerful presentation you can do to your referral source is Angel Oak's presentation. And we're not going to say anything about Angel Oak. The PowerPoint presentation is white labeled. Jerry or Steve go in there. They don't say anything about Angel Oak. They just say, I'm going to use Justine's name because she asked a lot of great questions along with all the other great questions. They're going to go in there. I'm just one of Justine's investors. And they're going to talk about non-QM products, the bank statement program, the debt service coverage ratio program, the HELOCs program, all those programs on your behalf. And I'll throw out one stat and then I'll close it. 9% of the loans Angel Oak closes underneath the bank statement program, 1099, P&L, bank statements, 9% of those borrowers are realtors. So you get 12 realtors in a room, you're probably going to get one of their loans, if not a DSCR loan from them. So anyway, sorry about some of the technical difficulties here today. It's probably more user error than it is anything else. But for those of you on the call that have closed a loan with Angel, thank you for your business. For those of you who have not, give us a shot. We've got the longevity here. We've got the professional people here. We want a shot at your business. Have a great rest of your month, and thank you for joining us today. Appreciate your time. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Appreciate you guys.
everyone.